Welcome to Trustmark Arena. I'm Alex Tejada. The Falcons take on their second Peach Belt Conference opponent in 2 days. Christy Bohan had a fantastic night last night with 19 kills, but they will be without lead blocker Shannon Dudley, who's out with an injury. However, the Falcons have a vast array of talent to make up for it, including senior Chandler Cooper. We'll be back after the break with First Serve. Welcome to Trustmark Arena for the second Peach Belt Conference game in 2 days. We're about underway here. Falcons entered today 2-0 at home, 1-0 in the conference, 7-3 overall. Their opponents, the Augusta Jaguars, 4-2, 2-0 at home, although 1-1 on the road. Overall this series, 12-6. The Falcons hold the advantage. They won both games in 2015, but lost both games in 2014. They have only lost once, however, to today's opponents.
Augusta is coached by head coach Sharon Quarles with assistant coach Khadijah Forney. Gentlemen, please welcome today's starters for your Montevallo Falcons. A freshman from Montevallo, Alabama, number 1, Brianni Dixon. A senior from Southwest Washington, number 5, Hannah Christie. A sophomore from Springboro, Ohio, number 7, Nicolette Bissinger. A sophomore from Bloomington, Indiana, number 11, Bree Bloom. A senior from Saraland, Alabama, number 23, Chandler Cooper. A junior from Huntsville, Alabama, number 26, Christy Bohan. And today's libero for the Falcons is a junior from Cypress, Texas, number 4, Grace Harris. The Falcons are coached by head coach Katie O'Brien, with assistant coach Laura Forney and athletic trainer Kathy Sonal.
You heard the starting lineups just now. Montevallo going with the starting 7 of Michaela Henderson, Grace Harris, Hannah Christie, Nicolette Feisinger, Bree Bloom, Chandler Cooper, and the star junior, Christy Bohan. She has 162 kills going into today's contest. Augusta's top players, Gonzalez and Bolton, come in with 68 and 64 kills each. And first serve is underway. First kill of the game goes to 15, Savannah Gonzalez, 6'1", sophomore from Kennesaw, Georgia. On her 69th kill of the season, she averages 3 per set. Without a doubt, the most dangerous player on this Jaguars team. First blood to the Jaguars. And the serve from Stokes. Falcons get their first point. Falcons today in the all black, Augusta in the white and the blue shorts. First serve for Bree Bloom. 94 digs on the season, 11 service aces. Stokes, Baker, and that one's tipped over by Bickett. Jordan Bickett, a 6-foot senior from Tallahassee. Has 4 solo blocks on the year and 51 kills. She comes into the game in good form as well. Just a quick mop-up of Sweat and Hedrick. Jessica Hedrick, a freshman, back to serve. Bloom, Christie sets up Cooper, and it deflects off the net for an Augusta point. Look to see a lot of Hannah Christie setting the ball. She has 341 assists coming into today's contest. Hedrick again to Bloom. They go back to Cooper, and this time successfully finds the floor, and the Falcons back on the board, and Bohan back to serve. She's improved many facets of her game, most notably her service aces, and a little bit of miscommunication there between Sanderson and Baker. Baker, who comes in with 253 assists. She's the Hannah Christie of the Jaguars. Looking at her teammate Sanderson with a slightly disgusted look on her face. Bohan's serve is wide right, and the Jaguars take the lead 4-3. Sanderson, a 6'1" junior from Brisbane, Australia, transfer from Florida State College of Jacksonville. She's another one of their dangerous players going forward. Has been mostly equipped as a sub, getting a starting position today. And there's a net violation. And speaking of sub, Brioni Dixon, a true freshman, is on the front line for Montevallo. She had the game-winning kill and a block last night. So the freshman from Mobile making a big impact after not featuring in a lot of the opening 9 matches. Ball served to Beisner. She can't deal with it, and it's another point to the Falcons, who take their first lead of the day, 5-4. Served by Christie. Beisner sets it up for Bickett, who ties the game back up at 5. Substitution as Stokes checks out and Savannah Gonzalez checks back in. She's had a fantastic start to the season for the 4-2 Jags. That time a wayward dig does not make it over the net. And Bickett will be back to serve. 6-5 lead for Augusta in the early exchanges of the first set. Bloom got in the way of Cooper, who rescues it. Grace Harris has to send it over. De Sylvester. Good hit by Gonzalez, kept alive by Harris, and Cooper gets an opportunity. That time she hits it long. 7-5. We've mentioned before, Chandler Cooper's only weakness is hitting it out of bounds. She offers a lot of power on her kills. That time just misfiring. Over the top by Bickett. Cooper. They set it up for Maxwell. Simone Maxwell gets her first kill of the game. She's had a good season coming off the bench. 35 kills, registering 36 right there, as Chandler Cooper checks out of the game. Twyford comes in for her first action, and Feisinger is out. Michaela Henderson is in to serve. Another freshman who's gotten important minutes under Coach O'Brien this season. Bickett over the top, and Henderson can't deal with it. 8-6 lead for the Jags as Sanderson checks out. De Sylvester, the libero, back to serve. Good serve. Hits it right at Grace Harris, and she can't deal with it. 9-6, Jaguars starting to forge a small lead, 3 points. Catherine De Sylvester, another senior on this experienced Augusta team. And a fantastic atmosphere inside today. There was an SGA cookout outside before the game, so the crowd has milled in. And we have cheerleaders and Freddie the Falcon on deck. So another great atmosphere. Falcons only lost 1 game all last season at home. As they take another break for a cleanup. As we prepare to get back under action, De Sylvester, 5'8" senior from Carmel, Indiana, to serve. Has an interesting style. Drops it right in the middle. Again, picks on Grace Harris. Christie sets it up. There's Simone Maxwell, recovered by De Sylvester. Baker, and that one from Gonzalez was powerful, but managed to clip the back line. 10-6 lead. Assistant Coach Farney going over to talk to Michaela Henderson on that back line, trying to get the organization down pat. Over the top by De Sylvester at Twyford. Harris back to Twyford. Over the top, kept alive. Hedrick comes across, and the Falcons can't deal. 11-6. Timeout. Katie O'Brien wants to sort out some organization issues early for the Falcons. The passing has been awry. And they need some answers early on, as the Augusta Jaguars have come out ferociously. Baker and Hedrick have come out swinging. De Sylvester looks very comfortable in the backcourt, digging. Falcons going to have to put more pressure. Slow start so far for the Falcons. Jaguars growing in confidence. De Sylvester back to serve for the 3rd time in quick succession. 11-6, 5-point lead for the away team. Again to Grace Harris. Brioni Dixon gets her first kill of the game. The impressive freshman checks out now for Christy Bohan. Pulls one back for the Falcons as they look to start a run here. Grace Harris back to serve. Over the top to Bickett. And a powerful kill by Hedrick. Good attempt by the Falcons to keep it alive, but Hedrick records another kill. The 6'2" freshman from St. Louis having a good early start in that front court next to Bolton, Bickett, and Hedrick, as well as Gonzalez. Christie sets. And it looked like there might have been a double touch by Gonzalez. But as it stands, Falcons back attacking. Kept alive by Twyford, and a second chance for Bohan on that possession. Goes down. 8-12, Feisinger checks back in. Simone Maxwell makes way. Feisinger will come back in to serve. De Sylvester. Baker sets it up, and she's partially blocked by Gonzalez. Was partially blocked, but it powers through. Christie and Bohan were there. 13-8. Kenya Stokes, another freshman from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Fast serve right at Henderson. They do that trademark play. Christie to Bohan around the right side, and that time it goes down. As Bloom and Cooper check back in, Twyford and Henderson make way. So after an early shaky start, the Falcons starting to find grips on this game. Bree Bloom back to serve. Serves that one into the net. She's very hit or miss from that position. Goes for the service ace almost every time. Just telling her coach she misjudged the drop on that ball. Hedrick will go back to serve. Freshman's had a bright start for the Jaguars. Christie sets up Cooper, and that one does catch the right line. Accuracy is what Cooper has been working on in the offseason. It's been very hit or miss so far, but that time does so with great precision. Bohan back to serve, down 10-4. Fantastic block on Bickett. And Brioni Dixon follows that block up with a kill. She's had a great start to the game, 2 kills after she only managed 1 last night, albeit the game winner. Bohan back to serve as the Falcons have cut it to 3. Goes right to Day Sylvester. Baker sets it up, and she's blocked. Bolton, double block there. Cooper and Dixon. As the Falcons have cut it to 2, 12-14 as we get in the later stages of this first set. Biggett with the slam block off the Montevallo front line goes for a point. As 18, Janae Beisner checks in for Blair Bolton. She serves it. Feisinger with a diving dig, and Christie. Unorthodox, but we've seen that twice in the past couple days. The art of deception from senior Hannah Christie. Normally a setter, just pushes that one over with fantastic finesse, and the Falcons back within 2. Christie to serve. Stokes. Baker sets it for Sanderson, and it goes off Christie. Jaguars end the Montevallo run. Gonzalez checks back in for Stokes. Bickett to serve. Cooper. Dixon can't deal with it. Another good moment for the freshman, who looks very comfortable in this lineup. 17-13. Bickett. Chandler Cooper. Awkward dig. Grace Harris keeps it alive, and Cooper forced to send it over the top. Day Sylvester. Baker switches it to Gonzalez. Saved by Bloom. Christie looking to set for Cooper. And that was all the aspects of Chandler Cooper's kills that have resulted in so many so far this season. Power and accuracy as she finds the floor, and the Falcons end the mini Jaguars run to cut it to 3. Twyford checking back in along with Simone Maxwell. Kayla Henderson, freshman from Huntsville, to serve. And into the net, and a violation. Falcons still running their offense. They got the point and have cut it to 2, 15-17. Henderson back to serve again, the smallest member on this team, but has proved vital with a lot of key digs as Coach O'Brien has worked her into the lineup. Baker setting it up for Bickett, put in an awkward area, and Henderson couldn't get there. Not too much power on it. Sanderson checks out. Hedrick comes back in for the Jaguars. Day Sylvester back to serve. The libero has been everywhere in the defense for the Jaguars. Dixon. Christie looking to set for Twyford this time. Kept alive by Day Sylvester. Baker. And the kill from Hedrick is long. her first error of the game. Falcons within 2, once again, 16-18. See if they can bridge the gap here. Grace Harris back to serve. Wearing the neon yellow jersey today. Fantastic block by Twyford. Put back over. Christie. Twyford sends it over, but they have another chance. Baker. Flicked by Hedrick. Christie to set again for Twyford. A little behind her, doesn't get that much power. Sylvester, they go again to Gonzalez, and she's blocked by Bohan. Star player on star player, and Montevallo's comes out trumps there. 17-8, they've closed it to 1. Harris to serve yet again. Puts a lot of power on it. Right at De Sylvester, who eventually deals with it. Baker, good save by Henderson. Baker to set again for Gonzalez. Henderson in the right place. Set up for Bohan. And her first kill of the day will have to wait. That one goes long. 19-17. Jaguars maintain their 2-point lead as Baker goes back to serve. Despite being only a freshman, the 5'6" player from Norcross, Georgia has recorded 253 assists, and the setter looks to be very at home in the middle of that starting lineup. Alongside a lot of experience, so that certainly helps her. Twyford, an awkward hit over, kept alive by Gonzalez. And a powerful kill over the top by Blair Bolton. Falcons will call another timeout, down 17-21 in this opening set. Back at Trustmark Arena, the Falcons have retaken the court, down 17-21. Jaguars looking to close this opening set, in which they have looked very comfortable despite a tough road test here in Montevallo. We mentioned the home advantage that the Bird Nest has provided for the Falcons in many seasons, especially last season. Bohan, very comfortable at home, very comfortable above the net. Her first kill of the game be a relief for her to get that on the board. Maxwell checks out Nicolette Feisinger back in the game. De Sylvester. Baker gets it. Gonzalez partially blocked, but it goes through. Grace Harris tried to keep it alive. It went off the block of Natalie Twyford. 18-22. Starting to heat up towards the end of this first set. Kenya Stokes checks back in to serve. Coach O'Brien just organizing her defense, which was so much shifting. Sometimes it's out of position. Good save by Christie. The dig from Harris, however, wasn't good enough. 23-18. Stokes back to serve. In other Falcon action, the men and women's soccer teams are in South Carolina taking on Francis Marion. The women have come back from 2-1 down to tie it up 2-2. It is halftime there. Here at Trustmark Arena, Falcons have a 5-point deficit in the opening set. The Falcons have not played a 4-set match until last night, in which they overcame adversity in the third set to come back with a fantastic fourth set in what was a close contest. Bohan kept alive Bolton. And a net violation to negate the block on Bickett, who looks very relieved. 1 point. Stokes, and more confusion in the Montevallo back line. 25-18, the first set goes to Augusta. We're going to a break and we'll be back with the second set.
This is the College of Fine Arts.
Back at Trustmark Arena for the second set. A quick swap of sides on the court. Falcons fell in that opening set 25-18. Bickett and Gonzalez led both teams with 5 kills each. Bickett did so on 5 of 6 attempts. Baker was the linchpin for the Jaguars, 14 assists. On the Montevallo side, Christie leads the assists with 10 and 4 kills each for Cooper and Bohan, despite both of them hitting under 300. Uncharacteristically sloppy defense in that first set by the Falcons. Coach O'Brien will look to have improved it in that timeout. Henderson comes out in the libero jersey. Bree Bloom is also in the lineup with Chandler Cooper and Bohan up front on either side of Christie. So a couple changes for this second set. Bree Bloom back to serve. Good over the top. Bickett from the back row. Feisinger Just has fantastic form on the digs, but that is a great block. Jessica Hedrick, the freshman who's had a massive game, gets up once again, this time to deny Bree Bloom. Serve from Stokes, a lot of power on it. Beisinger eventually sets it up for Cooper, gets her 5th kill of the game. Cooper starting to warm up and is picking on the back line of Augusta. Bohan back to serve. And Chandler Cooper's over the top after the Jaguars couldn't deal with it to ensure the point. 3-1 early lead. Falcons, good response after a lackadaisical first set. Baker, Bickett kept alive. Feisinger, Cooper, De Sylvester keeps it alive. But again, the pace on the arm of Cooper proving too much for the Jaguars to handle, especially in this second set. Falcons out to a 4-1 lead. Bohan again to serve. Another low one, Stokes. Baker sets it for Bickett. Christie, Cooper, Stokes, fantastic dig. De Sylvester, mishit by Bickett into the net. That's her first mistake going forward. Bickett and Hedrick have looked very good in the opening stages of this. 51 and 50 kills, each coming into the game with 4 solo blocks apiece. Their games are very similar. Their stature is very similar, and their play is as well. 5-2 as the aforementioned Hedrick back to serve. They will have to be on top of their game. That seems to be the difference between the wins for the Jaguars and the losses. Bickett and Hedrick. Gonzalez and Bolton have had fantastic games all season. Player we haven't seen any of for the Jaguars is Savannah Roy, a freshman from St. Petersburg, who has 52 kills coming into the game. That time it goes off the block of Cooper and Dixon. The kill for Bolton. Doesn't have much pace, but she's been managing to force some balls through that Montevallo front line. Cuts the lead to 6-3. Beisner. Good dig by Cooper. Dixon. Henderson forced to play it over. De Sylvester. Baker. Sets up Bickett. Another powerful kill. And her great hitting percentage takes another boost. Sanderson, the other blocker in the front court. Beisner. Henderson hits it over. Falcons set it up perfectly for the Jaguars, and Sanderson needs no invitation. Strikes it across court. It suddenly, the lead has disappeared to 6-5. Beisner. Bloom. Cooper goes off the stanchion, and a point that ties the game. Katie O'Brien decides to call a timeout to stop the bleeding here. So after an early start through the kills of Chandler Cooper, the Falcons put under pressure by the serving of Beisner. Results in a couple poor possessions. And when the ball's in their court, the Jaguars move it around nicely and sets up one of their many powerful outside hitters. Bickett and Hedrick having fantastic games. Gonzalez starting to come into the match. She's not on the court right now, but she managed to record 5 in that first set of her own. Sanderson also fantastic off the bench. Jaguars looking a threat here. Six all coming out of the timeout. Falcons with Maxwell, Dixon, Christie, who's going to high five the whole team, trying to get them pumped. Cooper, Henderson, and Bloom in the back line. Serve again by Beisner, who drops this in a very difficult area again. Henderson sets up Dixon, who's really starting to emerge as a player in these last couple days. That's her second kill on the game. Actually, that's her fourth kill on the game. Even more impressive start than I had even imagined. And I'm sure she's glad for the added minutes. Beisner hit over the top, but way long from the freshman Stokes. And the Falcons come out of that timeout flying high. 8-6 lead. Grace Harris back to serve. Right at Beisner. Tipped over, but a great save by Christie. Twyford hits it back. Christie puts it over the top. Beisner. Baker will look to set again. Bickett. Christie. Twyford. De Sylvester, great dig from the back row. Stokes forced to hit it over the top. And Henderson. Good opportunity. Dixon can't put the power on it. But Bickett can, and it goes to the floor. 8-7. Sharon Quarles' team capitalizing on all of the Falcons' wasted possessions. Bickett to serve. Twyford. Little exchange between her and Christie. Confusion in the backcourt between Bickett and Gonzalez. Falcons look to take advantage. Good dig by Bickett. Christie sets this one up for Dixon. And a sidearm hit goes to the floor. 6th kill on the game for Brioni Dixon. Fantastic start for the freshman, who checks out. Christy Bohan back in. That's not a bad duo to have. Henderson back to serve. 9-7 Falcons taking an early lead in the second set. Looking to respond after losing the first set. Baker goes cross court, and Gonzalez, lots of power. Has been trusting her arm, and it's been working so far, putting a lot of power, but it's been catching the lines. De Sylvester, the serve. Harris, Christie to set. Punched over by Natalie Twyford. It was odd but effective. Falcons keep the 2-point lead as Nicolette Feisinger checks back in to serve. Simone Maxwell, the player, heading for the bench. Feisinger, De Sylvester and Baker. Hedrick kept alive by Feisinger, and Bohan with a lot of power. And despite the best efforts of De Sylvester, Bohan gets her 6th kill of the game. (11-8) for the home side. Looping serve. Gonzalez goes off the block of Christie, and they've pulled another back. Gonzalez, the star player of the Jaguars, forcing her way into this game. She was strong in parts in the first set, but definitely didn't show all of her prowess. Nor has Christy Bohan until just now, starting to come into the game herself. 12-9 lead for the Falcons as they make a sub. Bloom and Chandler Cooper check in. Harris and Twyford, the ones being replaced. Bloom back to serve. With so many service aces coming at the beginning of the year, it's been a minute since she's had one. You'd think she would be due one. And with the Falcons flying, this is a perfect opportunity for her. The sophomore from Bloomington, Indiana, has had a great season after not getting many minutes last year. Waited her turn and has been all round, recording blocks, kills, Diggs, service aces. That one over the top. Bickett. And they go back to Gonzalez. This time she's blocked. Bohan and Cooper. And the Falcons with a response to the Jaguars' attack, which worked so well. It's the second time Gonzalez has been blocked by Bohan. She looks to have her number. De Sylvester, sprawling save. Bohan this time going around the right from the set from Christie. But there's the power by Bolton. Blair Bolton had a couple kills in the first set and looks to continue here in the second. Stokes back to serve for the Jags. 13-10, back and forth. After a bright start by the Falcons, they were pulled back to 6-6 by Augusta, thanks in part to Bickett and Gonzalez, who've looked deadly at the net. The run stopped, however, with a little run by Christy Bohan. Couple kills and a block on Gonzalez. But a point there. And the Jags looking back in the game. But they gift a point. Kenya Stokes, who's made a couple errors on the offensive side, makes her first on the defensive side. And the Falcons see a break here. Bohan, De Sylvester, Baker sets it up. And that was an attack done to perfection. Jessica Hedrick, the St. Louis native. Sanderson checks back in. Not too many tall players in the Jaguars lineup, but no short players at all. Everyone about the same height, 6 foot, 6'1". That in turn is why they have so many great hitters. That time Hedrick serves out of bounds. Falcons lead 15-12. Maxwell checks back in, joins Chandler Cooper and Brioni Dixon in the front court. Christie to serve. Bickett, Baker keeps it alive, and again, the power of Bolton proven too much for the Falcons back line to deal with. That time it goes off Michaela Henderson. And the Jaguars are back within 2. Beisner to serve. She gave the Falcons a lot of problems in the extended run of 6 points in that first set. Over the top, a block by Bickett. They go again from the left side. Cooper kept alive by Stokes. Bickett over the top, Henderson in the backcourt. Twyford kept alive by Baker. Again, Bickett. And the defense of Montevallo is there. Dixon, great save by Cooper, who's forced to put it over. De Sylvester to Baker. Sanderson around this right side is blocked by Cooper. Yet again. The longest rally of the game, and Montevallo comes out the winner. As Grace Harris checks back in, Bree Bloom makes way. Started the game as the libero. Has conceded the neon jersey to Henderson. Back in the game and back in the defense. Bickett, Twyford, across to Christie. Twyford gets another effort. She's blocked but keeps it alive. Harris, Maxwell, tipped over by Baker. And just like Christie fooled the Jaguars with a similar play, the setter on the Augusta side does so. Sammy Baker. 16-14 as we get towards the business end of this second set. Bickett goes back to serve. Bickett and Hedrick have had fantastic set and a half starts. Bickett catches a deflection, a lucky deflection off the net. They're back within one. Timeout by the Falcons. Coach O'Brien just looks to swing the momentum back to the home side as the Jaguars have mounted a second set comeback to cut the lead to one. Back at Trustmark Arena after the timeout, Jordan Bickett, the senior outside hitter, to serve for the Jaguars. Henderson, Harris, crossfield pass for Twyford. De Sylvester, easy dig. They cross it to Henderson. Blocked. That time the Falcons were in position and the front line would not be beaten. Falcons take back a 2-point lead, and Henderson will serve. It's the third time Gonzalez has been blocked in this match. Baker, Sanderson tries to tip it over, almost does so. Christie pushed back over by Henderson. Baker keeps it alive. Bickett switches it to Gonzalez, and Bohan gets a kill. 19-15. Falcons feeling comfortable now in this second set as they look to close it out. Baker sets it up for Gonzalez, who this time gets it off the block of Simone Maxwell. Cuts the lead to 2. Catherine De Sylvester to serve. Senior has been busy in the backcourt. Multiple digs. That time it was just lofted over the top, and Hedrick powers it down. Cuts the lead back down to just 1. The time out of bounds by Maxwell, and it's a tie game at 18-all. So an initial response from the timeout has been negated by a mini run by Augusta. De Sylvester has problems dealing with that. Twyford goes back to her. Baker setting it up around the right side, and Hedrick continues her great game. The freshman has been almost unstoppable. Jaguars take their first lead of the set, 19-18. Twyford comes out for Bree Bloom. Twyford just looked a little uncomfortable there on that dig. Didn't put much power in the attack either. De Sylvester. This time Bree Bloom has trouble dealing with it. And the double touch is another point for the Jaguars. A couple mental errors for the Falcons, looking sloppy in defense. 20-18. Harris. Miscommunication there. Henderson was not on the same page, missed her assignment. And a 3-point lead now for the Jaguars, who have turned this second set around. All on the serve of De Sylvester. Harris. Bloom is blocked, but it goes out of bounds for a Falcon point. And that run is finally ended. Feisinger checks back in for Maxwell. Just looking for a little bit more solidity in that back line. Feisinger, a good organizer. De Sylvester goes across to Gonzalez. In the back line, Harris keeps it alive, and they set it up for Bohan. Blocked by Gonzalez, but out of bounds. Falcons get the point and cut the lead to 1, 20-21. Feisinger back to serve again. Bickett. Baker sets it up again for Gonzalez. And she's been about 50-50 going forward. That time it falls. Beisner checks out. They bring back in the 6'2 sophomore Blair Bolton, who's had a great game. Proved to be the one part of this Jaguar front line the Falcons have had the most trouble dealing with. Been most impressed, however, with the setter, Sammy Baker, just a freshman. He's been a real organizer. Back to serve here. Henderson. Over the top by Christie. Kept alive by Bolton. Casually put over by Gonzalez, but the return from Bohan is long. 23-20. Jaguars 2 points away. Montevallo needs a frantic comeback. Henderson, Feisinger. Bloom tips it over the top, kept alive by Baker. Bickett. Again, they can't deal with Bolton, but they manage a good kill in the back court. Long again this time by Christie. Set point, 24-20. Baker to serve. Harris. Christie setting it for Bohan around the right side, and that one falls. We need to see more of that play from a Falcons point of view. It's been so effective throughout this season. Christie to Bohan on the right side. A play they have perfected but haven't been able to go to as much as they would like. That time Gonzalez misses it, shaking her head. She didn't like the height of the set. And the Falcons trying to save this second set and avoid an 0-2 hole at home. De Sylvester, Baker. Powerful by Bolton, but Henderson keeps it alive, and Bohan hits it to the floor, and the Falcons knock off a couple set points. And a timeout needed. Coach Quarles needs a word with her team if they are to close out this second set. An 0-2 hole would be a very unfamiliar position at home for the Falcons, but not in the season. They have fought in five-set matches, and after losing the opening game against Erskine, they showed great resolve in the wins against Tusculum, King, and Belmont Abbey, which was their last 5-set match. A loss to Shorter and 5 sets thrown in there, and that's how you get the 3-2 5-set record. Falcons proving they're never out of it. They have lost some sets handily, but come back, especially in that game against King, in which it looked to be getting away from them, but they managed a frantic comeback. We've seen a mini comeback here in this set, 23-24. Confusion there for once, but put over the top by Bickett. They go to that play from Bohan, and it falls again. 24-all. 4 set points erased. The Falcons, a lot of effort in here to salvage this second set. They do not want to be 2 sets down. And the combination of Christie and Bohan starting to blossom here. Bloom to serve. Be a great time for a service ace. Bree serves it to Sylvester. Baker sets it up for Bolton. She's finally been stopped, and they can't have a response for Bohan. She has not been stopped. And the more opportunities she gets, the more points. And another timeout as the Falcons get a set point. Coach Quarles does not like what she has seen. 25-24 after being down 20-24. The Falcons, a furious rally of 5 straight points. Most of it all on the arm of Christy Bohan. The defense has improved, however, and the setting of Christy has been superb. For once, a chink in the armor of the Jaguars has been showed. Sammy Baker just looked a little out of position on a couple of those points. De Sylvester in the backcourt, and Gonzalez has missed a couple easy kills. Bloom back to serve as they look to close this second set. And what looked a comfortable Montevallo lead, 2 leads they managed to form, got torn down. And the Jaguars, with a great run of their own, almost won the set. It's been back and forth here, and Bloom's error ties it up at 25. Kenya Stokes to serve for Augusta. The freshman comes in with 17 service aces in her debut season. A lot of heat on that one. Feisinger keeps it alive. Christie knocked over by Bloom. Baker, Stokes setting it up for Bickett. Saved it, but Bolton's there at the net for the away team. 26-25, they get their 5th set point. They couldn't manage to do anything with the first 4. You would imagine this would be a huge second set, not just as far as the scoreboard is concerned, but momentum. It's been a back and forth last few points. Stokes, you see why so many service aces, a lot of pace on that. Cooper just lofted it over. Kept alive by Baker, De Sylvester, Bickett, Feisinger on the Montevallo side. Bloom, it goes out. And a second set claimed by the Jaguars. It looked in doubt for a while. Bohan almost mounted a single-handed comeback, but it falls out of bounds on the kill by Bloom. And the Falcons in a tough position now, down 2 sets. We'll go to a commercial break and be back. Hopefully Montevallo can mount a comeback. They certainly have the pieces.
This is the College of Fine Arts. College of Fine Arts.
Back at Trustmark Arena, the Falcons find themselves in an 0-2 hole. However, the Falcons have won 3 5-set matches this year, and it all begins one set at a time, the comeback. Augusta gets this third set started with a kill by Bolton. Bolton with her 5th kill. The Jaguars are led by Gonzalez and Bickett, who have 8 and 9 kills each. Bohan leads both teams with 12 kills, 6 each for Dixon and Cooper, as that one goes wide. 2-0 lead for the Jaguars. 26 assists by the setter, Sammy Baker, for the away team, and 25 for the Falcons, Hannah Christie. 8 digs by Michaela Henderson, 13 by Kat Day Sylvester, who's had a very busy day in the defense. The Montevallo defense looked a lot better in that second set, but ultimately came up short. A couple hitting errors towards the end, but not from that player. Christy Bohan, 13th kill of the day. Another monster game for her as she looks to get these Falcons going. 2 each on the scoreboard. Stokes over the top. Christie sets it up for Bohan. Knocked over by Bickett. Bloom out of the back line. Bohan forces that one down, goes off the block of Bickett, who can't deal with it. Falcons have their first lead of the third set. The fantastic home atmosphere. Pulling one set back would bring the crowd back into this. Bickett. Christie forces it over. Just a little touch from her, the senior from Sammamish, Washington. Usually known for her assists, that time gets the point herself. Bloom Service ace for Bloom. She's been doing that so well. Hasn't gotten one in the last couple matches. Will be relieved. That one tipped onto the Jaguars side. 5-2 lead Falcons. Oh, almost got the exact same deflection. Day Sylvester sets it up for Bickett, but it goes into the net. And the Falcons loving the net right now. Couple great deflections. And Bickett got above the net, but it denied her that time. Bloom to serve again, 6-2. And it goes off of Kenya Stokes, who wasn't set. And another ace for Bloom, 7-2. Perfect response for the Falcons. This is how to start a comeback. Bickett out of the back row. Baker sets it up, and the power from Bolton. I've said she's the one player that the Falcons look to have no answer for, and Bohan has been the foil for Gonzalez. We've seen a lot of Bickett and Hedrick, but they've been their own enemies when they have messed up. That time Bohan's tip goes wide right. Just needs to shake that off. It's unfortunate. As Hedrick back to serve. She's had a huge game. 5 kills. She's gone a little quiet since. And a block by Sanderson on Cooper. The transfer from Florida State College of Jacksonville. Big solo block. Cuts the lead to 2. Hedrick. Bloom. Christie sets it for Bohan. And that combination that has worked so well all season and started to get going in the second set comeback is now up and running in the third set. And Bohan will go back to serve. 3-point lead Falcons, 8-5. Great block by Cooper. Baker keeps it alive. Punched over by Bickett. Christie sets it. Bohan, strong arm from the back, but it goes into the net. Henderson checks back in for the Falcons. Bohan will get a rest. Bolton comes out, and Beisner, who served so well in the first set, back in for the Jaguars. 8-6. Falcons haven't done too much wrong after a sloppy defensive performance in the first set. Brioni Dixon is back in. Freshman starting her first team breakthrough last night. Got the winning block and the winning kill. Christie, again, fooling the team and everyone in the stadium. Forces that over. That's the third time she's done that. She goes back to serve now. And they can't deal with that. She gets an ace to her name. Hannah Christie. We always mention Christie Bohan has evolved her game. Hannah Christie, who didn't start very much last year, guaranteed starter this year, but has evolved her game into a key component of this Falcons lineup. Kept alive. Maxwell couldn't kill it. And Bickett is back on the score sheet. 10-7. Gonzalez, the main hitter, checks back in for Kenya Stokes. So Gonzalez and Sanderson dual threat at the net for the Jaguars. Bickett to serve. Cooper sets this one up for Dixon, who almost dunks it over the top. Kept alive by Baker. Dixon again. Christie manages to save it. Henderson sends it over the top, but wide left. 10-8. Coach O'Brien just telling her team to calm down. Looked very organized defensively, but couldn't deal with some of the strong hitters on Augusta. Both defenses have had a tough time, but another error that time for Montevallo brings it to a 1-point game, 10-9. Jordan Bickett back to serve, 6-foot senior. 2 Falcons there to meet it. Christie, Bloom out of the back row. Bickett keeps it alive. Baker sets it low for Gonzalez. She forces it over. Christie keeps it alive, but a double touch means Jaguars have tied it up at 10. And assistant coach Farney also off the bench, urging her team to stay calm, get back to basics. Low serve over the top, kept alive, sent over by Maxwell. De Sylvester out the back. Sanderson gets the tip off the blockers. A couple Falcons looking questioningly at the line judge. First lead of the third set for the Jaguars. And you would think they would like to close it out in this set if they are to. Bickett gets the service ace thanks to the deflection, and Coach O'Brien has seen enough. 12-10, timeout, Falcons. Back at Trustmark Arena, Bickett continues to serve after an opening start by Montevallo that formed the lead. They got pegged back, and the Jaguars took a lead of their own. It's still intact, 12-11. The Falcons will be encouraged as Bickett with the error. Grace Harris, who started the game as libero. That shirt has been passed to Henderson. Grace Harris still been very influential. Out of the back line. Bickett pushed over, blocked by Dixon. Baker, the setter, tries to go over herself. Christie sets it up for Dixon, and her big game continues. This is the breakout party for Brioni Dixon, the freshman from Mobile, Alabama. Ties it up at 12. Falcons down 2-0. Looking for a comeback here, starting in the third set. Cross court to Gonzalez. And when she gets it right, it's unstoppable. You really just have to cover her well, get your blockers in position, and hope she makes a mistake, because she does make quite a few of those. Not to be discouraged, however. Continues hitting away. That time to success. Christie sets it up for Dixon. Almost a dunk style she has when she gets that high above the net. 6'1", adds a little bit of height to this Falcons lineup. And they tie it up again. Back and forth as it was in the second set. Henderson. Bickett. Baker sets it up. Hedrick's blocked. Gonzalez. Harris saves it out of the back. Sets it up for Bohan. A lot of pace on that set by Christie, but Bohan was there to deflect it over. 14-13, Falcons. Henderson. Beisner. Set up for Bickett, and the positioning of that one was the key. Dropped that in the back left corner. Too precise for Harris or Henderson to get to. Baker to serve. Low serve. Twyford. Bohan off balance. Henderson keeps it alive. Bohan punches it back open. Bolton tips it over the top. Henderson, miraculous dig. Nelson Gonzalez goes again, and off the block. She gets yet another kill. The kill leader for the Jaguars takes back the lead 15-14. Coach Quarles must be at her team right now. Another error puts the Falcons back in the game, 15-15. Feisinger checks in. Simone Maxwell comes out. Coach O'Brien just having a word with some of her subs, who she probably prepares to send in as this game gets very tight. Falcon comeback has the brakes put on it by this Jaguars attacking front. Stokes, Harris, Feisinger saves it. She has great form. Henderson puts it over Stokes. Baker sets it for Bolton. This time her power goes into the net. De Sylvester keeps it alive. Henderson knocked over the top again. The trick play from Christie. And it's tied again. Twyford and Harris come out. Bloom and Cooper. Coach O'Brien has just had a word with them. Frustrating day so far for the Falcons. Most of that in part to the hitters like Bickett. Bohan comes around. This time because of the block of Bickett. And even her teammates are surprised by how excited that made her. The seniors had a massive day, and that's the first time we've seen Christy Bohan blocked in a long while. Hedrick, the freshman, to serve. Bree Bloom. Set for Cooper. Uses all her power. Kept alive by Stokes. Put over the top by Hedrick. Christie with that trick play yet again. 17-all. Back and forth. You would think this is the opportunity if you're the Jaguars to come away with a win. If the Falcons can pull this set back, they feel that they're in with a chance, and Coach Quarles calls a timeout to address just that. They would love to sweep the Falcons. They faced 2 losses against them last year, but they won both games in 2014. Always closer than the score line suggests. You see some great dance moves by Freddie the Falcon. Big Al and Aubie who? Great moves at the timeout by Freddie the Falcon. Let's see if the Montevallo Falcons can have equally as good moves. Bad move on the part of the Jaguars there. Confusion at the net. Bolton, 18-17. She's very good with her arm. Defensively, however, and mental errors, probably the reason why she doesn't get more playing time. She's fantastic when she gets above the net, however, as is Christy Bohan. That one goes in. Another service ace for Bohan. Really has improved on her serving this season. 19-17. The home side trying to get a third set victory, which would put them back in this game. Bolton, like I mentioned, when she gets above the net, she's unstoppable, and that's almost automatic. Goes down again. She checks out. Beisner comes back in to serve. Very good server herself, the senior from Port Charlotte, Florida, a transfer from State College of Florida. She's really impressed in her time at Augusta. 19-18. Bloom, Christie, Cooper slamming it. Beisner with a great save. Put over, kept alive by Cooper. Tipped over the top by Christie. Baker sets it for Bickett, and Christie blocks it and tips it over. She's been fantastic this game. As Jamisha Edmond, the transfer from Pensacola State College, checks in the game for the first time. Feisinger high-fived by her teammates. Her defensive play is fantastic. Her form and positioning are the highlights of her game, and the Falcons have a 2-point lead. Hannah Christie to serve. Day Sylvester. Baker to set it up for Bickett. We've seen that trio work fantastically. Cooper takes the power off, almost fools the defense, but Day Sylvester keeps it alive. Pushed over by Bickett, and it goes out of bounds. 3-point lead for the Falcons, 21-18. Definite encouragement for Coach O'Brien, who looked very frustrated with her side after the opening 2 sets. A lot of mental errors, a lot of breaks going the way. That one was going out of bounds. Day Sylvester keeps it alive. Bickett, that's long. And another point for the Falcons, 22-18. They got a run going, and Coach Quarles would like a timeout. Falcons starting to take flight. Do they have enough in the tank is the only question. They've proved that the case is yes on many 5-set games this season. This is the first one of that kind at home. They won in a 3-setter on Wednesday. They won in a 4-setter last night. If they were to win a 5-setter, it would be the first of its kind at home. The Bird's Nest has seen a little bit of everything in Katie O'Brien's tenure. Going into her 9th year, 6 of the 8 seasons before this, 20-plus win seasons. So the defensive organization are just further testament that the coach knows what she's doing. And she has a lot of skilled players on this team, one of which has emerged this year. Hannah Christie, been on the team for a while, saw more minutes in her sophomore year than she did in her junior year, is now the main setter on the team. Saw impressive performance by Harley Mason, a freshman who looks to be one for the future. Sanderson tips it over. Cool play from the Brisbane native. 22-19. Gonzalez checks back in. Stokes heads to the bench. Gonzalez has been very hot and cold. The misses have looked appalling. The kills have been unstoppable. Bickett to serve. And the Falcons look to have sorted out their first set defensive problems. A lot went against them in the second set. They've regained their footing here in the third, and Sanderson can't get her footing at the net. And it goes down 23-19. Twyford and Harris come in. Bloom and Cooper head out. Harris back to serve. 2 points away from a vital third set. They had to have this one. Coach doesn't look too pleased. She'll definitely be relieved, however. Gonzalez chopping away. Christie keeps it alive. Henderson chases in vain as it goes into the crowd. 23-20. Falcons still in a comfortable position. Hedrick, the freshman, checks in for Sanderson, who makes way. Day Sylvester to serve. Right at Twyford. Christie. Twyford pushes it over. And in front of the lunge of Bickett, it drops. 24-20 set point. Falcons. Michaela Henderson back to serve. And for the shortest player on the team, she has a fantastic serve. Is there a service ace on the way here? Short respite for the Jaguars. The towels brought out to clean up some sweat. Put over by Henderson. Set by Baker. They go across court to Gonzalez. They stave off one. It was this exact score, 24-21 in the second set. Falcons' furious comeback to make it 24-all. But ultimately, the Jaguars pulled it out 27-25. Falcons up 24-21, another set opportunity. Bohan, and it goes off the block of Gonzalez, and the Falcons take a third set. They're still in the match. A vital fourth set coming up. They have a foothold in the match. Can they keep their nerve and complete this comeback? Or will the Jaguars continue their fine form and finish this one out? Trustmark Arena is the site. We'll be back after commercials.
Time's forever moving forward. We can't rush. Now tell me why somebody even want to choose a college. I know you don't want to leave with just book knowledge. We don't sell an institution but an attitude. Other schools don't understand. They on a different latitude. You don't want to get caught up in that sea of sameness when we perfectly unique. Yeah, we looking blameless. So get up out your seats. Get louder, louder. We chose Montevallo and we couldn't be prouder. How did we become painted with just one brush?
Welcome back to Trustmark Arena. Falcons salvaged the third set. Had to have it. About to start the fourth set. Kenya Stokes back for the first serve. That one took a lucky deflection off the net. Henderson and Feisinger both made fantastic saves at it, but they couldn't keep it alive. And the first point of the fourth set goes to the Jaguars. Falcons lost the opening two sets. Second set perhaps a little unfortunate, finished 27-25. But the comeback's on. Henderson knocked over by Feisinger after the save by Christie. Baker sets it up nicely. Bickett finishes 2-0 Jaguars. Stokes puts it over again. Bohan drops it over. Fantastic deception. be the first serve of the fourth set for the Falcons as Bree Bloom goes back. She's had a service ace to her name. Day Sylvester has trouble dealing with it, but Baker puts it over the top, and Hedrick claims the kill. That's Hedrick's 6th kill. Gonzalez leads the Jaguars with 14. Bickett also has 10. For the Falcons, Christy Bohan leads everyone in kills with 18. 6 for Hannah Christie and 6 for Chandler Cooper. 9 for the freshman Breoni Dixon. There's Bohan right there. She's blocked at the net, but it stays alive. Cooper, second chance for Bohan. She's blocked by Bickett. That's the second time we've seen that today. And Bickett, a senior, having a massive game for the Augusta Jaguars. They take a 4-1 lead. Cooper comes out swinging, saved by Stokes. Across the court on the other side, Bickett. Cooper gets a second opportunity. Hedrick out of the backcourt. Sets it up for Bolton. And they can't deal with her power, and that trend continues. Coach O'Brien likes a timeout. 5-1 lead as they look to come back to tie it at 2 in this fourth set. Augusta has different ideas. Certainly apparent by the way this fourth set has started. In the timeout, a nervous Falcons on the right side. A very relaxed Jaguar side. They've seen great performance by freshmen such as Kenya Stokes and Jessica Hedrick, matched with senior performances from Jordan Bickett and Beisner. Sophomore Gonzalez has also had a fantastic game. We knew that going in. She's the main hitter for the Jaguars. Falcons have had a fantastic performance by Bohan. The problem has been getting it to her. The defense was very unorganized and in disarray throughout the first 2 sets. The organization is back. Feisinger, Bloom, Harris, Henderson have been in the backcourt and have steadied the ship for the Falcons. They would like to regain parity, but a fourth set, huge fourth set to play, and a huge kill there for Chandler Cooper. .34 assists for Hannah Christie, 37 by her opposite number. They go to Bolton this time. And Bolton has recorded kills 8 and 9 early on in this set. 6-2 lead. Beisner checks back in for the aforementioned Bolton, who's had a massive game. When she gets above the net, it's guaranteed. She's had a few mental errors. Her defensive work is not the best, but she's played a massive part in this lead that the Jaguars have formed. Bloom. Dixon, who has 9 kills, almost got her 10th. Salvaged by Stokes and Beisner. Feisinger sets it up, and this time she gets the 10th kill. Breoni Dixon, very influential off the bench. 6'3" Edmond checks in for Feisinger. Henderson leads the Falcons in digs with 14. Kat Day Sylvester, the senior, another senior who stepped up big for the Jaguars, with 15. Hannah Christie to serve for the Falcons, who find themselves in a 6-3 hole to start the fourth set. They fell into a 0-2 hole, pulled it out in the third to set up a fourth. And a double touch on the Jaguars, one of their first mental errors in the backcourt. 6-4, Christie back to serve. Early goings of the fourth set. Christie, Beisner. Sanderson over the top. Great dig by Bloom. Christie and a double touch on her. 7-4. Gonzalez the big hitter for the Jaguars, is checked back in. Stokes heads to the bench. Bickett to serve for the away team, who's come in here very fearless. They lost both matchups last year, but won in the season before in both matchups. That one goes off the block, and it can't be saved by Henderson. Gonzalez back to her brilliant best. 8-4 the guests. Bickett to serve. A lot of pace on that. Falls in front of Bree Bloom. She makes a good dig. Over the top is Cooper. Goes off the block of Sanderson. And they've cut the lead to 3. Harris and Twyford check in for Cooper and Bloom. Still a very nervous looking Coach O'Brien. Coach Quarles on the bench for the Jaguars has looked very composed. Got a little agitated in a couple of those timeouts last set, which ultimately saw her team fall. But they've had a fantastic response in this 4th set. And again, Sanderson with her 2nd kill of the set. They can't deal with it despite Michaela Henderson flying up from that back line. 9-5. Jaguars. Senior De Sylvester to serve. Has 113 digs coming into today. That number definitely increased. Edmond blocked, but it goes out of bounds off of Gonzalez. Bohan checks back in for Dixon, and Henderson will go back to serve. Falcons trailing 3 in this 4th set. Henderson, who has a great serve, goes. That was just a great setup. Baker put down by the freshman Hedrick. Bolton checks back in. Beisner heads to the bench. Made a good dig to start that move for the Jaguars. 10-6. Baker. Miscue by Harris. 11-6. And a little bit of frustration starting to crawl in to that Montevallo Falcons starting line. But that'll be relief. Baker hits it straight into the net. They can get something going here. Feisinger comes in for Edmond. 11-7. And lucky number 7 goes back to serve for her team. Good delivery by Feisinger. De Sylvester. Baker sets it up for the powerful Bolton. Drops it over the front line. Christie forces it over. Goes again to Bolton, this time on the right side. Off the block of Bohan. And the point goes to the Jaguars. They're trying to provide answers now, but the power of Bolton results in a point. Gonzalez checks out. Stokes checks back in. 17 aces on the year. None today, however. He's had a couple errors. Just floats that one over the top. Henderson, and a little bit of miscommunication between her and Bohan. Another point. 13-7. Both coaches on the Falcons side up on their feet. Bree Bloom also yelling from the sideline. She's a real leader in this team. Feisinger diving save. Christie to Christie Bohan. Great solo play. Didn't look like she had a good angle or much power, but the placement put it right in that left corner to end the Jaguars' run. Twyford and Harris come out. Chandler Cooper comes back in, as well as Bree Bloom, who's in to serve. Bloom, great serve. Saved by De Sylvester. Baker, they managed to keep it alive. Bickett hits it over the top. Bohan, saved by Bolton. Baker completes the play. Hedrick, Henderson, Christie, setting up Cooper. Fantastic dig out of the backcourt by De Sylvester, and they'll go again to Bickett. Dig by Cooper. Bohan tipping it over the top. And the point goes to the Falcons. 13-9, leads down to 4. As the comeback of the Falcons results in a comeback in the 4th set. So a double comeback needed. First things first, getting back in this 4th set. They went down early 2-0. Been forced to play catch up since then. Did well to close out the 3rd set. found a hole. Coach O'Brien called the timeout, looked to have arrested the damage. Couple fantastic kills by Gonzalez and Bolton. And the Falcons are playing catch-up yet again, but they're in the middle of a comeback run right now. De Sylvester, wow, she's had a great game from the back. Baker has as well as she keeps that one alive. They're all over the place, but Bickett gets it over. Bohan blocked by Bickett, but out of bounds. She's foiled Bohan twice, but not on that occasion. 13-10. Bloom to serve. Has a fantastic low serve. That time it goes into the net, however. And a free point for the Jaguars, 14-10. Sanderson checks back in for De Sylvester, who will get a quick rest. All white shirts on the court right now for Augusta. Feisinger. Bohan tips it over. Despairing lunge by Sanderson. And they'll bring De Sylvester back on. Hedrick checks out, wiping up some sweat. As Sanderson using that as her reason for why she slid. 14-11, Falcons cut it to 3. Christy Bohan back to serve. We've seen her notch a service ace earlier in the game. Let's see if she can do it again. Pivotal moment. Kenya Stokes. Baker sets it up for Bolton. It was a little behind her, and it was a little left. 12-14. A mini run by the Falcons. Pulled them back into this fourth set. Great serve by Bohan. Almost fell right behind that front line. Bickett puts it over. Great block by Dixon. Bickett gets another chance. Good dig from the back by Feisinger. Harris almost dunks it over. Dixon with a good hand. They go to Bolton. Dixon's there again. Kept alive by Christie. Cooper just sends it over. De Sylvester in the backcourt. Baker. Bickett with the attack. Bohan keeps it alive, but it falls in between Christie and Bloom. And the Jaguars get a point and a 3-point lead, 15-12, as Bolton checks out. Beisner checks back in to serve. That one into the scorer's table. Too far for Cooper to retrieve. 4-point lead, 16-12. Falcons have had trouble with the serve of Beisner. And Feisinger with the dig there. Cooper sends it over the top. Stokes there for the Jaguars. They go to Bickett. It's very, very hit or miss. That one goes off Christie and down. Timeout Falcons, 17-12. Augusta trying to close it out here in the fourth set. Back at Trustmark Arena, the Falcons find themselves in a 5-point hole, down 2-1. Christie, cross court to Cooper. Miss hit, goes wide, 18-12. In other Falcon sports news, the women's soccer team wins 6-2 in South Carolina, found themselves down 2-1. Great comeback. They tied it up at 2 with a goal by Madison Ellis. They got 3 late ones to pad the scoreline, but it was a very close contest. Taylor Gonzalez got a double in that victory to start conference play. Women's soccer team now 2-2, heading into Monday's contest against Shorter at Varsity Field, right behind Trustmark Arena. Volleyball team trying to come back. Brioni Dixon. Baker over the top. Bickett. Been successful all day doing that. 20-12. The comeback has just faltered a little bit in this fourth set for the Falcons. But Chandler Cooper, persistent in her hitting, gets the kill that time, bringing her trademark heat on it. Knocks it down. Feisinger is out. Christie to serve. Edmond has checked into the game. Low serve, kept alive by Beisner. Stokes, Bickett, Henderson, an awkward save. Cooper off the stanchion and out. 21-13, 8-point lead. Stokes comes out, and the big-time hitter Gonzalez comes in as Coach Quarles looks to close this one out in 4. They do not want to go to 5, which would be played to 15 if that's the case. Falcons hope that's the case. That one goes long. Lead is now 7, 14-21. We saw Coach Quarles not afraid, however, to call timeouts when she can sense a Montevallo comeback. Did 2 in the third set. Didn't help. Falcons have to get a run, though. There's no way around it. Harris, over the top by Bickett, kept alive. Christie, forced over by Harris. Bickett, Baker, Sanderson around the back. Good save by Henderson. Somehow went over. Baker, Beisner to Gonzalez, who forces it over. Edmond gets a swing from the right side. Kept alive by De Sylvester, and Gonzalez will get a second chance on this point. Harris with the dig. A little bit behind Twyford. Kept alive by Beisner. They'll set it again for Gonzalez, and she does not need a second invitation. 22-14. The fantastic hitting by the sophomore continues. Sanderson checks out. Freshman Hedrick comes back in. She's had a great game. Hedrick on the Jaguar side and Dixon on the Falcon side. Freshman coming up huge today. Christie setting it up. This time it's in great position for Twyford, but it's just wide left. And the Jaguars are 2 points away from a huge upset in Trustmark Arena against the 7-3 Falcons. Looking forward for the Falcons, 23rd and 24th, a doubleheader on the road. UNC Pembroke and Francis Marion. Doubleheader in the Carolinas is followed up with a return match at home on the 27th against Columbus State, and they close out the month of September on the 30th with a home match against Armstrong State. So the conference season really heating up. This opening weekend saw the Falcons win in 4 against Georgia College. Bohan is blocked by Gonzalez, and if Bohan isn't getting the kills, you're not sure where it's going to come from the Falcons, and they're running out of time. Down 9, set point, match point. Baker, the freshman, another freshman who stood out today. Henderson. Bohan misses that one, and the upset is complete. Augusta Jaguars, after losing a third set, the Falcons' comeback is halted in the fourth. 25-15. They come up short. They really had to play with nothing to lose there. But Coach Quarles comes away the victor today. Jaguars advance to 5-2. The Falcons fall to 7-4. So a frustrating day for the Falcons, but not a frustrating weekend. There were signs of improvement, lots of freshman faces, such as Michaela Henderson and Brioni Dixon. More play from Bohan and Christie, which shows you that the Falcons may be one of the toughest teams to beat in the Peach Belt. However, they cannot come up with the win today. Unusual at home. They lose in 4 sets, 3-1. They won in 4 sets last night against Georgia College. Be 10 days till the next match, but join us with Montevallo Falcon Sports on Monday. Women's soccer against Shorter. Montevallo 7-4. Next match on the 23rd against UNC Pembroke. For Montevallo Sports, I'm Alex Tejada, closing out from Trustmark Arena.